Welcome back to the breakdown. Today's episode sponsored by Bottom Groundworks. The link's in the description. Have a wee click on and have a look. How are you, mate?
All good. Aye, big huge thanks to Andy for sponsoring us.
Aye,
nice touch.
Big shout out to Andy, man. Loving it. Good groundwork company, so have a wee look at it. See what you think. What are you laughing at, Dave?
Old Firm game.
We calling it Old Firm, aye?
Are we not allowed to call it Old Firm?
Might upset half the...
Oh, is it?
Might upset half the...
I still call Rangers Training Centre Murray Park, and I think you're meant to call it Murray Park.
What do they call it now?
It's meant to be the Rangers Training Centre, but at one stage it was the Hummel Centre. I think it might even been... I think it was officially called the Puma Centre, but there was one time, obviously, Puma sponsored the club, didn't they? That's how I was brought up when I first went there at Murray Park. So
we might need to cut this part right, but do you know Bruni, where Bruni stays now, his new house?
Aye.
David Murray's old house?
Aye. No, it's his mum's old house. David Murray's mum's old house. Aye.
And then the house next door to it used to shoot pornos in it.
No way. You never told me that. How did you find that out?
Because we played golf at...
And he told you that?
What's his golf course called?
The Royal Burgess.
Royal Burgess, and the last 9 holes, it takes you right to his back garden. And his next door neighbour, there was porno shot in it for years.
No way.
Aye.
Big swinging parties in there.
Big swinging, like big actual pornos getting shot. I always wondered where they get shot. How
did you get onto pornos for the Old Firm?
David Murray was mentioned.
Brilliant. Brilliant. What are you saying about the game?
What a mad game, but how bad were Celtic in the first half? Rangers were really good, but Celtic just never get started. No shots in target, no one effort and goal in the first half, no control in the game. Is that down to Rangers, or do you think it was poor for Celtic? What's your view on that?
Is it because the stakes are always high, aren't they, with these games? But is it because the stakes are that high with Hearts? There has to be pressure, in the players' minds, even the fans' minds, the staff, the managers. With Hearts going and doing the business on Saturday, I was like, they end up getting over the line. They win 1-0. I'm thinking, fair play to them. And then you end up finding themselves, obviously, from a Celtic perspective, 2-0 down and probably bullied in every department of the pitch.
There was a bit of mind games before the game between Rowe, McInnes, Bartley. What did you make of that?
I quite liked it. I always think, like, if I was in that position myself, I'd like to carry myself with a bit of class and obviously be humble and respectful. But for an outsider looking in now and seeing these wee bits, I quite like it. I quite like the wee bit coming together after the game, a bit of passion. You know what I mean? When Scales is obviously involved a wee bit, you see Martin O'Neill on the pitch, obviously pushing people away. We've obviously seen Derek McInnes shoulder barging people after games. I'm all for it, mate, a wee bit. I'm not condoning it, but from the game perspective, I thought Rangers were terrific in the first half. We have to talk about Shermetti's goal because I've heard Mikey Stewart say that he'll never be a top player. He certainly looked like a top player for 45 minutes on Sunday, didn't he?
It surprised me, that goal. I was shocked.
It's incredible,
I felt like everybody was shocked.
I know, but to be fair, like, that's another double against Celtic, hat-trick against Hearts only a couple of weeks ago.
His second goal as well, for me, is
brilliant.
Top class.
No great defending right enough, but
it's poor defending.
His reaction and his anticipation, his imagination to his first touch to then get wrong side, to then the wee nonchalant touch to then prod it past the goalkeepers.
Some goal.
Brilliant. But his first one's like, I can only think of like Wayne Rooney. Like, seeing the goals, Wayne Rooney's in the Manchester derby, further out obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm not
McTominay's obviously.
McTominay's, aye. But they're like the ones that come to mind, aren't they? That are like, you're like goals that are, well, it's goal of the season, isn't it? There's not going to be a goal better.
Finish. I think that
both at the title race.
Well, I'm just going back to that goal. I think that sums up to me in terms of having a strike partner. If you look at it, Scales has been dragged out to try and stop the cross. Tierney's out there as well, and then Nadiri been in there causes a bit of sort of confusion because of an extra man, so you need to sort of pick him up. And then I feel that Chermiti the last time they played 2 strikers, out and out strikers against Hearts. scores in that
I
game.
know. Well, we've questioned Danny Rowe if that's what he maybe sees as a.
I think that's what he sees. I says it before the game. I think he sees that as his best team.
I went last week saying that I potentially would have played the one. I wasn't sure that would give Rangers the control within the game with someone like Callum McGregor in the middle of the pitch. But another assist for Askou Olsen.
Yep.
On his right foot as well, going down the side. I'm not so sure Celtic do well enough to defend it, but he had the assist with his right foot, albeit different angle, and obviously a slightly longer cross against Hearts for Shermitty's header. But another big moment, and I suppose that these players are in their moments, isn't it, to create, to score. And he's probably had a wee bit of flack, Askou Olsen, especially off the back of the Livingston game. He never had his best game, but he's when you think of the big games, albeit Rangers never got over the line with the second half performance, but he's come up with some big moments, hasn't he?
He has. It was a great ball, and to see the way they two, Mikey Moore and Olsen, come inside, I think it suits them as well, rather than being
already in there.
The way they make it four in the midfield area with two strikers that leave spaces down the side. I felt like Celtic wingers for me defensively
push too far back.
I think they get pushed too far back. I think they're all over the place, Tomo. I think that Romans is underlapping, overlapping, and Yang's just following him. And I feel like there's a couple of times he get down the inside of the box, cut a few. He looks like a real good player for me. Romans, I think he's Rangers. He's best signing. I think he's a top player. You just get a feeling he's sound technically, good defensively, fit. He's a top player. I think that he caused real problems.
Sounds stupid, but he moves well, don't he?
Aye. He looks
and
like a player.
If you know, don't you?
Aye.
Just moves well, aye. Fit as they come. Sound, I think, is probably the best. Like, he looks like he's got the steady Eddie part.
Aye.
You think he'd Tavernier, like obviously with the goal contributions that he's had, but he's probably a bit more reactive and instinctive when it comes to his defensive duties. He's got that engine that Tavernier's got going forward. He's then got the quality when he arrives in that final third. I think I agree. I think he's a real good bit of business for Rangers, and I think he'll become a real good asset, good age, either long term for Rangers, but if there's anything off the back of that, he could make them a couple quid in the time as well.
I think Rangers had to put Celtic to bed like before half time. I just felt I was hoping for half time for about 30 minutes in.
Praying for it.
Need a team talk here.
What a turnaround though, really.
I don't know what's happening to Celtic. I don't know what. I just feel like they're no starting games well. They're needing to be 2-0 down to get going. They're needing to. It's weird. It's so strange for that Dundee United game. I mentioned it many times when Martin O'Neill first came in. They started the game with intensity. They were at it.
The 4-0 game.
Full 90. Since then, they've not been like. It was a good performance midweek. Stuttgart away. A lot of changes. Not a lot of expectation, and they sort of played well. I'm surprised McInnes didn't start at the weekend after Thursday night. I would have 100% have started him.
And the fans have been critical of Hatate, but when he come on in the second half, it was a Hatate that everybody knows, wasn't it?
It was, and he was good, and credit to him for that. He got a bit fortunate with the penalty. He got a couple of goals at it and scores it, but
goes early, Jack Butland as well. I noticed when he took his penalty, Hatate, when he does his run up. Listen, I wasn't a penalty taker, but Jack Butland stood slightly behind the line, and then he moves early, and he obviously doesn't look at him. If he was a player that I think does, like the players that look at the goalies and they do the wee shimmy beforehand. Yeah. But fair play, I mean, his reaction.
I don't think if Hatate starts the game,
it has the same impact.
He has the same impact. I don't think if it's as simple as saying, let's start Hatate, and it would have been much better. There's plenty of examples where Hatate's been involved in teams like that and they've produced performances like that first half performance. I think the changes in the talk, whatever Martin O'Neill gives him a boot up the arse, whatever he says, whatever he does, the changes make then they go, right, we need to come back here, because it couldn't have got any worse. That was a real bad first half performance. Celtic can't continue to play large spells of games like that. They're not going to win the league if that's what they continue to produce. It's a fact.
Do you think they can still win the league?
They're filling me with no confidence, Tomo. I don't see any sort of. I feel like they're in between game plans. I feel like Martin O'Neill likes to play forward early and get it forward. Felt to me that they were just smashing it forward. I understand first 10 minutes of games, spin teams and make them defend. I just felt that there was zero control. Rangers, these four in there, dominated the midfield area. And Celtic in possession were just smashing it forward with no height.
It's not like a Celtic team, is it?
It's no Celtic. There was no plan, no complete opposite to the second half, where they had a bit of control with possession, worked it through the line, switched the play through bounce passes out to centre halves and go out the other side. And that's a Celtic team. That's what they've got the players to do. But I just feel like they're caught in between two styles right now. Martin O'Neill, simple things, play forward quickly. Yet you don't have the players for it. I know Sean likes possession-based stuff to build it up, and I think that's Celtic's.
They look like a Celtic team in the second half, don't
Aye, they were much better.
The way they moved it, better intensity.
Still struggling for a striker.
The flip of that is like you're 2-0 down, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So that key pass, that tighter pass, the receiving it in a tighter area becomes that wee bit easier because you're like, chips are down.
Yeah.
And that's not making an excuse for it. The flip of that is, that you mentioned for Rangers, they really should have put the nail in the coffin. It should have been game over, second match, and it would have put Rangers in a brilliant position moving forward. But now you're sitting thinking the outcome of this game, if you're a Hearts fan, you're desperate for a draw, aren't you?
Everything's fallen in Hearts' favour.
The flip of that for a Martin O'Neill's perspective is it's another game that they've not lost.
Yeah.
Because they've lost too many this year, Celtic.
Yeah.
But then, and I know I've seen a lot of the narrative online for Rangers fans. It's another game that Rangers have drawn.
Yeah.
Concede late on against Motherwell in a huge game, being 1-0 up against 10 men, being so dominant, scoring an amazing goal, and being so good for the best part of an hour. And I didn't buy. We spoke about it. I didn't buy into the fact that the players are tired.
No,
you didn't get tired in these big games.
No.
You run on empty for the first second because it's a million mile per hour. You cannot breathe. The intensity. There's almost like, well, it's like there's no air in the stadium, isn't it? No matter how cold it is, how sunny it is, how wet it is, it just feels as though it's right on top of you. Amazing games to play in, but I would never ever once say that I was.
How did you feel before the games?
I used to feel like a bag of shit before every game, mate.
What do you mean?
just like drinking Powerade and water and anti-inflams and, you know what I mean, just trying to like...
Nervous or?
Nah, not nervous, not just because my body was knackered. But I was always, unfortunately for me, I was always one of the players that I would always risk injury. Even if I had a tight hamstring, I wouldn't say I had a tight hamstring, I would just play. If I ended up hurting my hamstring, then so be it. I'd end up suffering, obviously, and you could say that I was stupid, but I was just one of the type of players that would be willing to run through the pain barrier really to get on the pitch.
I watched the teams coming out of the tunnel yesterday, and it felt like when I played in the games, it feels like another lifetime ago. Like, to think about the mindset set you were in at that time, you know, compared to now, it was like you were. I feel like you were in a completely different place. You were under so much pressure. You were living your life constantly in that. To step out at Ibrox, mate, it was like a surreal experience of the amount of pressure you were under and how much it meant, because you obviously knew how much it meant to your family, to your mates, to everybody in the city.
Fair play to the lads though. It's like we would never be disrespectful in the respect that we know how difficult it is. With their big games, you're under so much scrutiny. There's so much at stake. It's like fans. It's like their life. They love their clubs. Do you know what I mean? So like, the flip of that is when you get beat, it's like the end of the world, isn't it? And I'm presuming, without obviously looking at Celtic chats, but at half time I see a lot of Celtic orientated pundits that maybe support Celtic or whatever, and like, worst Celtic team I've seen, blah blah blah, like, can it keep on continuing, rebuild needs to start, like all the different things that people say, and then produce that 30-35 minutes of a real quality attacking football in the second half and probably get what they deserved in the end to get a point of the game. But then for 50-55 minutes, you're like Rangers like just look like a different animal compared to them. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing.
It was mad.
It's almost hard to put your finger on how it, because I when we were speaking off air about the subs, the momentum of the game, nothing to lose. I'm not so sure you could sit here and specifically say that it was a real tactical change that.
No.
And because we're not flying the wall in the changing room, what Martin O'Neill and Sean and his staff obviously said to the players, like I thought Tynecastle when I think he's a real top player, but he's probably also one that if he'd played in the first half, he would have got lost in the game.
100%. I think it's a mentality shift rather than a personnel or a tactical shift. It's a mentality shift. Rangers are trying to then subconsciously think, step after the game a wee bit and hold on to a 2-0 lead.
Which is a hard thing, though. I think a lot of people think that you can just go for the jugular for the whole game.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing that you get yourselves 2-0 up. You've been so good. I presume Danny Rowe would be saying, can we get the third goal? Because when Celtic get a goal or they potentially get one back, the atmosphere in the stadium changes.
And we've said it before, I think Danny Rowe is a defensive type of manager. Well, he definitely, first thing he sorted at Rangers was this defensive structure. So I think that naturally comes across sometimes.
Do you think he should have put subs on quicker?
I think it's a hard one because they were
We've
playing
got hindsight
that.
in
They were playing, I know, they were playing
but
that well. I just think Celtic then were willing to, as you said, they'd nothing to lose. They were willing to take that extra pass. They understood that, well, we're 2-0 down here, we need to go and play. Rangers were scared to get maybe the press broken, and then Celtic were away attacking, so they naturally drop a bit deeper, and it allows Celtic to have that bit of control, and then they're always going to have chances. It's 16 shots in the second half, compared to 17 all in. They'd one shot in the first.
Penalty.
It's a penalty, I think, right? I think it's a penalty.
He's awfully unlucky, isn't he?
He is, but the only thing I don't understand about it is, so I think it's the right decision. The only thing I don't understand about the rules now is, where are you meant to put your hands when you jump?
I don't know, where?
That's what I mean. So are you allowed to jump and try and block the ball? If that's a yes, where are you meant to put your hands? Because what is natural and what is unnatural?
I think he does jump awkwardly.
But that's his natural.
Aye, I know, but I do think he's either misjudged the flight of the ball, which is then, I think it's really unlucky for Dujon Sterling. But I've watched it that many times now, and it's like, it's no unnatural to go, do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not saying it's no unnatural thing for the way he jumps for the ball, but it looks a bit unorthodox.
So he's not get close enough to Maeda. So what he's then thought is, oh no, I need to jump and try and become a block here.
Aye, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think he's any point he's thought, I'll put my hands up.
No, 100%.
To try and make the...
He's just been unlucky where the actual ball's obviously landed, but listen, that's the...
I would love to say to the referee, okay, you jump and put your hands, but keep your hands by your side.
I know,
do you know what I mean? That would be unnatural.
I know. I don't think anyone disagrees with the letter of the law. It's the right decision. Harsh probably, but in the end, probably Celtic got the point that they deserve with that second half performance, if you know what I mean, and Rangers not being able to close the back door really. But aye, and it's hard to get away from what happened in Edinburgh on Saturday with Hearts winning and looking at that. I've looked at that table a million times. I've looked at the fixtures a million times. I'm like,
it's Hearts' title to lose.
100%. Now I think, especially with the running they've got, but we both know that no matter who you're going to play in the running, the games are going to be really tough.
Yeah.
And they'll be edgy, and there'll be nervousness, there'll be ups and downs, there's twists. We've seen that many twists, but the thing for Hearts now is they can afford a slip up. Which recently, when the gap's been getting that slightly bit tighter with Celtic with their game in hand, can it still puts them 5 points behind, 6 for Rangers. Goal difference is obviously narrowed a wee bit, and no doubt that'll change a wee bit in the coming weeks. But they can now afford to slip up Hearts. But what a season!
It's their titles. It's their title for me. It's theirs to lose. Hearts now, they've surprised me. My Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
What did you say? 8 points clear in March.
I don't even read it anymore. But it was the first day in March was yesterday, wasn't it? So everybody wrote it's March, and I don't see any chance of that. I clicked it. I refresh it, and then I'll maybe catch one comment. But they're coming for me. They're waiting on me.
That Gorgie Boozer's becoming more a reality for you.
I've started to put that in the TikTok.
Listen, they've been brilliant, haven't they? Really, I know the 1-0s.
They played well on Saturday in terms of they threatened. They looked like they could have scored more.
Aberdeen are powder puff, aren't they?
I know.
Powder puff, man.
I know. I mean, Braga.
He's putting himself. Well, we've already tipped him for Player of the Year, haven't we? But I think his level's above. Even though all the Hearts players, the squad, the management deserve an enormous amount of credit. But I think I'd be surprised if Hearts get to the end of the season successful or unsuccessful. And at the moment, it looks like they could be successful. I'd imagine not just for the sports writers ones and the actual PFA ones. I'd imagine however many supporters clubs that that have Play of the Year award nights, Braga will be at the top of all the list, I would imagine.
In the summer, if Celtic or Rangers come in for Braga, does he go?
I think he would go, but Hearts now put themselves in a really good position where they would be asking for top dollar.
How much do you think Hearts would chat?
What did they pay? What did they pay him and Kizaridis? It was only hundreds of thousands, wasn't it, for the two of them?
How much was it, Dave? Do you know?
Specifically, I don't know specifically exact what.
I thought it was maybe.
I want to say like
what's it, $1 million?
Was it as much?
I don't know.
Dave?
I'm guessing, Dave. Do you know?
I'm just going to check.
I thought Kizaridis was like 200 or 300 grand, and Braga was like 400 or 500 grand, maybe. But I might be wrong. I didn't think the two of them cost over $1 million though.
So it says it's in excess of £400,000.
400 grand. There you go.
So how much can you demand?
And how old is he, Dave? 26, 27?
Braga is, I think he's 26. Let me just check.
If he's 26, mate, and they've paid 400 grand from it, one, it's an unbelievable bit of business.
He's 26. He's going to be 27.
I think people might think I'm a Jambo in disguise, by the way. Knowing all these stats about these players.
How much?
You're definitely not a Jambo in disguise.
Nah. How much would you pay for him?
I don't know how much I would pay to be fair, because
he'd be desperate to go.
You're getting his best years, though, aren't you? So the next,
I'm going to upset Hearts fans here. He would be desperate to go, wouldn't he?
Well, financially,
Money
obviously,
talks,
financially, he could obviously earn a bigger wage. He might have a better opportunity to consistently win trophies rather than it potentially. But then Hearts, listen, they could just keep on building and getting better and better and better. So he could consistently get that opportunity to win silverware at Tynecastle every year. Do you know what I mean? The way they're going, I know they're out both cups, but they're still in pole position to get themselves over that line. And then what it looks like, we're only guessing really. What it looks like for them moving forward in the summer. Does Jamestown put more money in? Do they continue to grow? Do they continue to get better? Are they genuinely going to be a force come the start of August where they can be in a title race straight away?
See, they were linked with King. What's the boy for Ayr United? He's on loan for Rangers. Leon King.
And obviously they've already signed a young player for, well, he used to be a Rangers player, obviously Josh McPake, who's obviously now at St Johnstone.
They must be showing up the analytics well, eh?
They will. I would imagine they will be, mate. Aye, and I think there's really good players out there, mate, whether it be McPakes, and they'll have the word on the street that the Jamestown analytics stuff is punched in the numbers for some of the players that Rangers and Celtic have signed, isn't it? That's whether that's true or not true, but the word on the street is that some of the players that Rangers or Celtic have signed, Jamestown wouldn't touch their criteria. I've heard that a few times off a few different people.
Hearts are delighted by the signings of Celtic and Rangers,
which is mad, eh?
That's scary, isn't it?
But listen, 49ers will have their own data, Celtic will have their own data, and then I didn't think anyone could be disrespectful to Celtic when you think of Wayamas, Van Dijks over the course of the year, but they times feel like a long, long time ago.
Do you know why? Because Paul Tidsdale came in, and if you look at it and you say, right, look at the recruitment for Celtic in the past, and it's been for the best part of 20 years, it's been really good. There's also been failures, but it's always going to be failures. But you can name every year the amount of money that's sold on, considering what you've brought in, Wanyamas, Van Dijks,
and more recent
even
times you think of like a Jota's and
Dembele. You can go through loads of them. Edward. The one sort of common denominator for the bad recruitment this year has been Paul Tidsdale, and him being allowed to do that, to step in and take so much control, and that's what's cost Celtic.
Are Celtic similar, I presume, Jamestown with their own?
I don't even think. I'll be honest with you, Tom. I don't even think it's that advanced at Celtic. I think No, I just think that
Jamestown will be ahead of Rangers and Celtic when it comes to recruitment, the data that they've potentially got in place.
I think they are. I think that's a scary bit, and I think Celtic. I think Celtic need to improve that. I think they will. I think they've now. I think this season's shown it. I think the fans have highlighted it. See, Willie Hawkey's sort of made a. Have you seen what he's done?
I seen that.
He's come out.
Fans. I've seen a wee bit of the interview on was it Go Radio or something?
Yeah. For every. He's starting with season ticket holders, but he wants
for every 10,000 involved.
For every 10,000, he put 2 million quid in.
Sorry,
so 50,000 get involved. There could be £10 million he'll put in and try and get shares, so the Celtic fans have some sort of
a fiver for him, innit?
Aye, and people think it's.
I heard him say that it's a long-term plan is to then have a fan on the board and have a fan.
I think it's really good.
I never looked too much into it, but listen, I'm all up for all these different players. And I know Willie had put a lot of money. I know he's a big Celtic fan. I know he put a lot of money into Queen's Park, and you see their facilities at Lockhange Park. You see Lesser Hampden investment into that. So obviously, for a Celtic's perspective, they would want all that money going to Celtic. But he's not just. I think he was a big investor in the Jimmy Johnson Academy as well.
Yeah.
For what I'm led to believe. So
very generous guy, and I don't think. Listen, I don't know for a fact. I don't think he's doing it for anything other than trying to bring this together and make Celtic
obviously
better.
It's a Celtic thing, obviously, but he's been forthcoming and no just. I think they invest quite a lot of money, don't they, into the grassroots and that. So fair play to them. But I was intrigued when I seen it pop up online, and I was listening to it. And listening to him talk, but I think Rangers deserve a bit of credit in the respect of when you think of their recruitment. You just mentioned the boys, Romans.
Brilliant.
Nadiri's come in, obviously made an impact. And you could argue maybe the ones before that, Miovski's maybe not quite made the same impact, but then Chukwani, Skov Olsen splits opinions a wee bit, but then same again, we've touched on earlier, like some of the big involvements that he's had. We obviously assist against Hearts, he's assist obviously against Celtic, just there for, even though my mate sent me that many gifts saying a right foot swinger into the box, and then the guy scores, Wilshere Mitty scores like the best goal in the world, he's like, come on, and he's like, I could have crossed that. I was like, but you wouldn't have got to the byline. And you wouldn't have been on the park. So
and people would like if you look at it, Scales is diving in to block it. Tierney's blocking the low cross. It could easily have been blocked.
Nah, I know.
He's lifted it into a nice area.
And it's on his right foot. So I think I think we probably. I didn't mean ours. I just think in general people want to write people off. But I'm intrigued because then I think, and I know it's kind of spreading wings a wee bit because that's what we do on this podcast. We just go for one bit to another, but then Hibs recruitment's been good. And I don't know if they've got as much data behind. Malky Mackay will be a big influence on that, but the Owen Eldon, another one that just scored another goal at the weekend, albeit a disappointing result for them in the end, conceding so late on at Dens. But I don't
think it all need to be data driven. That's the thing. I just think you need to have some sort of process in how you're doing it. You know, if you're going for young players to sell them on, you need to have some sort of process in a way of sort of this is our recruitment, this is the way we do it. We scout it, we get 5 options, it goes to this guy, it goes to this guy based on their experience of bringing players in, and obviously the manager must have the final say, but there's got to be a process. I just think it's been, for me, I think with Paul Tidsdale in the building, it feels like a bit of winging it. But no, fair. People Olsen, like going back to him, and I was critical of at Hibs because I think you need to affect the game. What are you going to do? Now, for me, Livingston assist yesterday, that's affecting a game.
Aye.
For me.
Big moments. I sometimes think people just think every player has to run about and crash into tackles and have that personality and and that enthusiasm. But listen, I think some people would think that should be a given, but everybody's got different personalities. They've all got different qualities, and I thought he would be one that would be more forthcoming and dropping his shoulder and coming inside on that left peg and playing the wee cute reverse passes or hitting shots on goal. But he's been as brave going down the outside on his right foot, and he's put balls into good areas. Set plays has been another thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know Magoma obviously was taking a lot of set plays before. Roman's obviously come in, so he finds himself at the team. So Skov Olsen's had a wee bit more involvement in that department as well. But I'm just, for us as well, I'm saying neutrals. For us, just as footy fans, going back to the recruitment, I would like our clubs in Scotland to get more off the platform that we give these players. So there's more money generated through our clubs that will put our clubs in a healthier position. And then the young part, when you mention some of the younger players, Kings, McPakes and they might not go on and become the Scotland internationals, but when we flip back to some of the young players that are getting the opportunities to go on, but I didn't just want to see the clubs signing players that are taking data from somewhere in Europe. I see the young players getting opportunities because it then flips back to our young players can get sold for huge profits. And I think there is huge profits to be made when it comes to selling players in Europe or down south. So me just being as a neutral, I think like brilliant the clubs are doing all the recruitment, and you're never always going to say, like Grant Hanley for Hibs has been absolutely brilliant, but he might not have a resellable asset. He's not a resellable asset really, do you know what I mean?
But he'll help bring other boys on,
100%, aye. And he's been a mainstay in the team, albeit he got injured obviously a few weeks back, but I think actually he maybe got injured against Rangers. I think he hurt his calf or whatever it was. I don't even know if he's back yet, but he's different stages of his career when it comes to obviously being an asset for the club. But when you then think of Braga's, Kizaridis, you know what I mean, all the players that we've mentioned in the past, some of the boys at Rangers have just signed. I think that Chukwuemeka could go on and make good money for Rangers. Do you know what I mean? Big powerhouse, modern day, kind of box to box midfielder. So, it's an intriguing party. Be great to actually have somebody on to talk about recruitment and data and what kind of numbers, and without giving too much away, I suppose. But
I would love to know the ins and outs of what Hearts recruitment is.
I would be quite intrigued. We should get Davy Weir on. Davy Weir would be brilliant to get on, because he was at Brighton, wasn't he? So
where is he now?
Our big Lee McKillock. Davy's a Strasbourg guy. Gary O'Neill's manager there now, isn't he? Because Rosinha went to Chelsea, didn't he? And Gary O'Neill got the Strasbourg job. I'm sure, didn't quote me, but I think Rosinha's first game in charge, they won 5 or 6. And I think Gary O'Neill's first game in charge for Strasbourg, I think they won 5 or 6.
All right.
I don't know how they're getting on now, because I don't watch much French football, but you know I love football. So
let's start dissecting the French league now.
Well, I can't talk French, mate. So some of the names would be a challenge. But
so we never were any Hearts too much there. Let's all be chat about them. They
keep
were
winning, mate.
I know. And I know, and they
I love how you always go like this. You do this with your head thing. You're like this, and then all of a sudden you.
I just never saw them doing this well. But another convincing result. Aberdeen never offered much, did they?
No. I actually do think
Alex
Aberdeen
Ferguson at the game as well.
I know he's loving it there, isn't he?
Aye.
And I'm right in saying he was at the Old Firm on Sunday as well, wasn't he?
I was.
Aye.
Alex Ferguson was the last, obviously, manager to win the league outside Celtic and Rangers.
He's mentioned him a few times now, wasn't he? About
he created this sort of atmosphere at Aberdeen, by all accounts, that nobody likes him, and nobody in Glasgow likes him, and nobody wants him to win the league, and this kind of siege mentality. I feel like Dell's doing the same. The way he's talking in the media, the way he's like barging into people after games.
What are you saying about that?
It is what it is, you know. It's not something I would be doing. But Dell is who he is. I mean, I don't know why he would want to barge somebody after winning a game. But why would
obviously something's been said in it, but
you think so?
They've obviously come there's obviously
he done the same when they beat Hibs as well. He had a wee shout at the Hibs fans, didn't he?
He's there to be. I think he's got the personality and the character to stick himself on that pedestal to be shot at. Really,
you think you can't exactly? Can we criticise him when that same passion is translating onto the pitch with his players? The way they're fighting to the ending, picking up results, and so maybe if he started trying to change the way he is, maybe his team wouldn't feel that from him. Do you know what I mean? Because you've seen them all jump in, try to back him up, and there's that sort of.
I think just because obviously Hearts are doing so well, but like I've not watched Hearts obviously every single week, even though my brother-in-law goes to all the games, so I always get a wee lowdown of how they've played or whatever, and yet listen, you see all the incidents pop up on social media, and I suppose it's our job to try and get an insight into that, and then it's obviously us, we're having an opinion on it, but you think if the Fozzie one just comes to mind.
Yeah.
I think when they got beat off St Mirren, when they got the man sent off early doors, when Halkett got sent off, there was a coming together or a disagreement with Stephen Robinson, who's another fiery one. Do you know what I mean? They wear their heart on their sleeve and brilliant. We want that passion. And then you obviously, the Hibs part, you know what I mean? Like telling the fans to beat it type thing.
I think Dale's.
And then the Aberdeen one.
I think he's created this narrative that no other team in the league wants Hearts to win the league. There you go. And all of this is adding to it. So he's actually believing that himself. Whereas I don't think it's the case.
I think a lot of people would want to see. I think a lot of people forget that there's no just Rangers, Celtic, Hearts or Hibs or Aberdeen. There's 42 teams in the league. You know what I mean? And then you go to there'll be guys, kids, mums, grandmothers, that go to watch their local football team down the park, and they might go there instead of going to Easter Road or Celtic Park or going to watch St Mirren or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I actually just think the general football fan, minus the team that they support, because
think they want Hearts to win the league.
I think they want Hearts to win the league.
So they are. I think they do. I think they want.
I think if you're a Hibby, you didn't want to see Hearts win the league. If you're a Rangers or Celtic fan, they obviously want to win the league. Would a Celtic fan rather see Hearts win the league than Rangers? So I think if Rangers didn't win the league, I think they would rather see Hearts win it than Celtic.
And I think it's the same. I think Celtic would rather see Hearts win it than Rangers.
So it's mad, isn't it?
But Hearts are like Rangers' wee cousin, aren't they?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I'm just listen. Hopefully, we'll get some comments that maybe a mother. Listen, we've not even spoke about Motherwell.
I know. Dave, do you think Hearts are Rangers' wee cousin?
Not really, no.
How?
I just don't think so. I don't really see. Why do you think that, out of interest?
We were just asking you as a Rangers fan, Dave. What do you see Hearts
I've
as
heard somebody say Hearts fans are the Rangers fans without the bus fare.
See, it's funny because I always thought Hibs and Celtic were more aligned.
That's
than
what
Rangers
I would agree with you, aye.
But I'm not so sure if you asked a Hibs fan if they like Rangers or Celtic, I think they would say they dislike both of them. And then
Would they?
obviously, like the Hibs fans didn't want to see Hearts win the league.
Aye,
But then
surely.
I didn't think Hibs fans want to see Rangers win the league either, or Celtic. So it's like, but
Have
I
I
think
not seen Josh Taylor, who's a big Hibs fan, said he would prefer Rangers to win it, prefer Hearts to win it than Rangers?
I'm not having that. I didn't see how all my pals that are Hibs fans. I feel as though I'm different because I played for Rangers.
Maybe I didn't see
The
it, but I
club,
thought I did.
the club have been brilliant to me. I've got a brilliant relationship with the fans. I love the place, but I grew up a Hibs fan,
Aye,
so I think it's different. But Josh never played for Hibs or Rangers.
aye.
Hibs fans, a lot of them didn't play for Hibs or Rangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know they would give their right arm to play for Hibs. I get that, like any fan would for the team that they support. But I think all the Hibs fans that all my mates that go to the games every week, they didn't want to see Hearts win the league.
Aye.
And they might then say, "Oh, I'd maybe rather
They'll never hear the end of it, would they?
No, but I think when the games pop up, like Hearts and Rangers, I didn't think a Hibs fan or my mates, but I'm only speaking for my mates because it's not like I ask a million Hibs fans what their opinion is, but my mates would want to see Rangers beat Hearts.
Aye.
They would want to see Hearts win.
Aye.
But I think the neutral of maybe a St Mirren fan or maybe an Aberdeen fan, obviously I know Aberdeen fans didn't particularly like Rangers, but maybe an Aberdeen fan, and maybe one will come on and say, "You're miles off it, yeah, it's a lot of rubbish, a lot of nonsense," but I think Aberdeen fans would want to see Hearts win the league rather than Rangers and Celtic.
Aye, I agree. I think that would be the case as well. Like to see there's a chance.
Yeah. And then listen, it's
But it's Hearts to lose.
it is I think
They are favourites. The bookies are never wrong. They're near enough even. They're 5-4. I've seen somewhere.
only 5-4, aren't they?
5-4. Somewhere. I'm sure of that, Dave. Is that right? Rangers, Hearts like near enough even money are 5-4 favourites.
That's a put your house on job.
Am I allowed to bet, by the way?
You could bet if you're not involved in any football club, mate.
And I'm not involved in any football club. No, right. So I'm going to tell people my bet builder.
You can bet. You haven't got any affiliation to any club, have you?
A bet builder I had on Saturday was 2 each. Certain Rangers. Benjamin Negrin to score or assist. 11 or more corners.
Done.
Mikey Moore to score or assist. 20 quid would I got my grand back.
That would have been nice.
And I would say the bet
It must be odds on, Dave, are they, Hearts?
It's 13-10. Celtic are 13-5, and Rangers are 11-4. And then you've got the outside of Motherwell at 14-1.
Talk about Motherwell.
Win again. They've conceded the least goals in Europe or something.
Incredible.
PSG are only the team that closest to them.
Oh, well, I can't get my head around it.
He was at
brilliant
the
watch, but
So, by the way, get your head on this one. He's near enough. If Motherwell have got a game, he's at the Celtic game. He's at the Celtic game. No any game. He's always at Celtic games.
Is that you?
What's he watching?
Is that you tipping up?
I don't know. I've tipped him on here before. People are going to think I know him or something.
Do you think is he watching Celtic because he thinks they're the team to beat for the league?
No.
Or is he?
No, I don't think that. I think he likes watching Celtic. I think he's a Celtic fan.
He obviously, and I'm presuming he'll even though Motherwell's not quite Glasgow, but Celtic Park will be obviously close
Handy
enough
for
for
him.
him to obviously get to.
And plus, it's the biggest club in Scotland as
I don't
well,
know
so
about
he's
that.
just
Don't know about that, mate.
just wants to see the biggest club. You know what I mean? But again, they won again.
Frightening.
So they've got 10 games left.
My mate was up watching Askou. I'm not telling you who he scouts for, but he was up watching.
Was he?
It's a bit scouting for English clubs, aye. He was up watching. I only just seen it and I'd seen it popped up. So I was like, aye, who are you up watching? So they like quite a few of the Motherwell
He's the
players.
club.
I'm not telling you the clubs, but the
Championship.
Maswinishi and
Middlesbrough.
they also like Luke Graham, centre back Dundee.
Player, by the way.
Which, listen, that's obviously because he's having a brilliant season and he's another one that's like a great profile, big, strong, powerful, left peg, fast enough. He's one that we've bigged up, haven't we? But I think that's brilliant. I think they should get bigged up. And as long as Dundee, Motherwell, these type of teams, like I touched on earlier, get what they deserve for the players, for giving them these opportunities in the platform, and then us as a media, as Scottish football fans, bigging them up to the, not to the hilt as if it's like patronising a wee bit or over the top, but bigging them up for the credit that they deserve. And then the clubs, sadly for the fans, they'll see some of their new heroes moving on to pastures new. But I think if the clubs get what they deserve and they get top dollar for them, then unfortunately that's just the game.
Celtic or Rangers. Celtic should take Graham, I think.
Rangers are looking at Graham.
No, they're no. Celtic are.
By the way, Dundee want both of them to be looking at him, Dave, because
Aye.
you then end up
Aye,
with like
money.
you want multiple clubs to be looking at your players, because then it opens the door to a wee bit of
Yeah, Motherwell have
more.
got 10 games left.
Can they win the league?
5 of them are against Celtic, Rangers or Hearts.
Still to play Hibs twice.
So,
And they battered Hibs at Fir Park.
yeah.
I think it finished 2-0 that day. So Dave will be desperate to. And that was a sore one for Hibs. I actually thought when they went, they got their noses in front late on, they would see it out, but they conceded and then the flip of that for Dundee is, what was it? The Jobby team. Did you see that?
I seen him saying that. Aye.
I loved it. Jobby, I've not heard that word.
Doesn't he
for a
swear,
while.
does he?
Doesn't he swear? No. Says if the performance wasn't very good, rather than what we would probably say it was shite. He says Jobby. I quite like that. But big point for them.
It is.
And
Hibs
then-
will be disappointed to lose that last minute, wouldn't they? I mean,
I never seen Dave's post match stuff, but I think that was a real sore one for them, because it probably puts them in the hunt with the games coming.
yeah.
I would say that Motherwell have just got, with them winning and Hibs drawing another 2 points, I just think Motherwell have got that. They're right in the mix, Motherwell, but I think they've, worst case scenario, they've got that 4th position kind of tied up now.
They've got that tied up. Do you think they get in amongst the 3?
You can't write them off, mate, can you?
I know.
Can't write them off.
Like, you know, if they go to Ibrox yesterday, that first half would have been a better performance than
And what
what
Celtic
Celtic
won.
produced.
I
Like,
watched
you can
them,
almost
mate.
guarantee it, couldn't you?
I watched them the game that Askou had scored and Rangers beat them 1-0 and they were brilliant. So it's like, there's no like they're just producing these. You could argue the only game in the last 20-25 games that they've no really got to the heights that you would expect was against Aberdeen in the Cup.
Aye.
But they actually they went down to 10 men in the first few minutes of the game, so, and they still passed it, still played, still in the game. I think Aberdeen ended up getting a man sent off as well in that game, so did. But I'm sure Nisbet scored early doors. But apart from that, domestically, they've been, you talk about clean sheets, mate, dominating the ball, like scoring goals. They're not winning just.
Yeah.
They're comfortably winning games, you know what I mean? They're like battering teams. I said it to Jordy for Dunfermline's perspective. Obviously, Aberdeen beating them.
Yeah.
Cup week obviously coming up. Dunfermline play Aberdeen in the Cup at home, and listen, I know it'll be a tough game. Aberdeen, rightly so, because the Premier League team will be the favourites. But if Dunfermline caught Motherwell on their day, and they're capable of going and popping Dunfermline, do you know what I mean? But Aberdeen maybe gives you that wee.
Jinky's ruffling a few feathers. The Motherwell manager, I reckon other managers are hating him.
I think other managers should be appreciating him though.
I don't think they are though.
But
I think secretly they're raging. They're
Why?
fuming just because he's playing like nice football and he's producing results. And
I know, but so there's the flip of it, albeit like the disparity in budgets. You've been critically, maybe the way Hearts have played at different times can be quite direct. Would you rather be at the top of the league playing direct and winning games, or be 4th where Motherwell are playing good football?
good question.
Listen,
Listen, if you're a young manager, right, and your aspirations are to go to the highest level in the game, right, you would much rather be where Motherwell are than where Hearts are. So put it this way, right, if I still wanted to be a manager,
you'd feel your profile would look better being the Motherwell manager than it would be.
Bertil Askou is going to get more chance of a big move than Derek McInnes is, based on his playing style and what he's doing with Motherwell. I don't think it's enough to just win games and win the league. Now, having said that, if Hearts win the league, it's one of the best achievements for a manager in modern history in Scotland, for me. So, taking that away from Dale, but the truth of the matter is, Bertil Askou will be getting looked at to say, right, well, you get more chance of bigger jobs.
That's you think he'll, in time, in the years to come.
So it depends what you want. Do you want your legacy to say you won the league, or do you want you to go on and make...
I know, and there's loads of ifs and buts in it, because success for Motherwell probably before the season might have been finishing third or fourth would be an unbelievable season, maybe even just getting in the top 6. Might have been what their maybe objective was to start out. Hearts.
And see if I'm a manager, Tom, all right, I don't know about you, right, to know that my team, I'm standing watching my team outside the pitch and they're playing like Motherwell, that would produce so much joy and sort of fulfilment, rather than every week you're getting out of the line, you're not really knowing how you win, you know. Do you know what I mean? It's
I know, but it's such a hard one.
And by the way, I'm taking nothing away from Hearts. They're what they are, and they've produced what but I'm just...
But Hearts' obviously objective at the start of the season wasn't to win the league, was it?
No.
I wouldn't have thought.
But it must be new. It must be new.
It isn't. Well,
they'll say for 10 games in, 11 games in, they've been like, oh well, he's thought about we've got a chance.
Things have changed.
And if they don't win it...
But for Motherwell to play the football they've played, and to change like a club's total, like it's a full roundabout swing in style and identity. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I do agree with you. I think the manager will go on, and I'll be intrigued to watch his journey to see if he implements the same type of style at wherever he potentially ends up. Listen, the Motherwell fans will hope he hangs around for as long as he can for Motherwell, but wherever his journey is going to take him to, it'll be interesting to see how much success.
If he can do that with Motherwell in the Scottish League with that budget, he can do that anywhere. For me.
But then the flip of that is like you've seen a Nonce play like unbelievable football and have a lot of success in America, and then come to Celtic with far better players that can handle the ball better, and we've seen the wheels come off after a couple of months. So I do think different expectation. It's like, and that's no sticking up for Dell really for what he's achieved, but I sometimes think we're a wee bit like Dell's under our noses. He's been under our noses for quite a long time, and we maybe didn't quite. I think we do give him, and rightly so, we give him the credit that he deserves. But maybe in a big club scenario, he maybe doesn't quite have the profile for a. You could see the Motherwell manager end up like a big huge club in England with the style that he plays.
Yep.
I'm talking like a huge club.
Well, I've heard these. Look at teams in Europe.
Look at Ange Postecoglou, who I had far more experience and longevity within the game, different age. But comes to Celtic, starts off, as you'll know, relatively poorly, but then plays unbelievable football. Something that we've not seen for a domestic team. Albeit Celtic had the best players, but they were relentless. The way they played, like they were brilliant. They were a brilliant watch. The multi-ball, the inverted fullbacks, people were waxing lyricals off it. But then it's not quite happened for him going to somewhere like Spurs, but he's ended up at a big huge Spurs on the big huge salaries. He's now got a huge profile.
He's still won at Spurs. Spurs never won it. Spurs not winning.
I know, but like domestically you see them go down to 10 men and they're playing on the halfway line against Chelsea, and you're seeing Gary Neville's in that absolutely battering them. Like where's the adaptability when you've maybe not got the best players, but then the Motherwell manager's not got the best players, and he's still been able to go toe to toe with teams that have got bigger budgets. So I love everything about them. I love the way they play. I love the success they're having.
But I think under Ange Postecoglou, compared to if you're comparing sort of the way he managed compared to Bertil Askou, I think Bertil Askou is a lot more solid defensively. Even though he has possession, when I interviewed him at Premier Sports and spoke about when I spoke to him after the game about his rest defence and about his box that he creates in the middle of the pitch when they're attacking. I don't think Ange Postecoglou, although Celtic did it by default, I don't think it was something he spoke about. He just wanted to attack. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did talk about it.
I think Ange, when you listen to his interviews, it sounded like that. Like even his very first mic'd up session at we rest when the game's finished.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but then obviously you're no resting when you're defending, are you? You're still obviously working hard to get back to the pitch. But I would say that Ange Postecoglou's team, the opposition out with Celtic, were less competitive to hurt Celtic on transition.
Yeah.
And I think they had, and no take nothing away from them because they were brilliant and they were a great watch. But I think the opposition teams really suffered where they were beat before the games even started.
Yeah.
And when they found themselves 2 or 3 doing it, ended up 5s and 6s. Whereas the current Celtic and Rangers team, I think, are giving opposition, well, you spoke about it on the podcast, they're less dominant, eh?
Yeah.
Opposition teams are having more of the ball. Whereas like an Ange Postecoglou team would be like 25 shots on goal, they would concede 1 or 2, they'd win 4-0, and they'd have 78% possession.
Yeah.
Whereas their games happen, but not quite as regular.
So see Ange Postecoglou, right? It's interesting we're talking about this because right now Maeda's no responding under the management of Martin O'Neill. Hatate, although he came on and done all right yesterday, he's not looking like the same player under Martin O'Neill. That's an interesting point in terms of how Ange Postecoglou brought Japanese players over to this country and how he managed them. And I just wonder if the Japanese culture is very regimented, because I know Ange Postecoglou never hated, I don't know if you know this, hated players shooting from outside the box.
Oh, did he?
He used to go mad if he shot his fight. So that's why he didn't like Turnbull. He hated high crosses. So see when they dinked up to the back post, I remember being on the bench for Dundee United when Celtic were going for the league and somebody dinked up to the back stick for Giakoumakis and he turned round and swung his hands as if
what you
hates high crosses, wanted everything smashed across the box. So everybody knew exactly what was happening.
That'll be a data-driven thing though, won't it? Like
data-driven. So Maida went down the line and he knew he was smashing it across the box. He was in the box. Kyogo knew where it was coming. I just wonder if these Japanese players, I mean, you look at Kyogo under Brendan Rodgers, didn't he work? You just wonder if these Japanese players need to be regimented. Know them all, obviously, but is there a correlation between being managed differently compared to Ange Postecoglou? This is the way it has to be. This is where I want you to run. The winger gets it. The 8 runs in that half space in the box and smashes it across so everybody knows and you see the best of them. Or I wonder, because Maeda yesterday, he's a man down.
It's intriguing, eh?
Honestly. He's
and obviously certain players fit certain styles, don't they?
Where Martin O'Neill's more a man manager and lets people be free and sort of make their own decisions. Just wonder if and obviously Ange never spoke to the players. Sat in his room with his lunch, never interacted at all with the players. Martin O'Neill's obviously, I think I'd heard he was like that. Well, I know he was like that when early in his career because I was at Celtic at the time, and then I think he's sort of started to sort of recently been chatting to the players and a lot closer than they was before. I just wonder, I'm intrigued by the man management and how these Japanese players are sort of their culture lends to maybe a more regimented style. Because Maeda, for me, I mean, I don't know, he obviously gets a penalty for Celtic yesterday, but I thought he should have been taken off a lot quicker.
And then we've got Falkirk, mate.
Aye,
what a job he's done, eh?
I know.
Not quite mathematically there, but pretty much assuring to be top 6, obviously.
Aye, to be fair, the start of the season, I thought with him coming up for the Championship, having a plan the way he plays, I thought they would do all right. But I did wonder about their defence and wonder if they kept conceding, didn't they, early on? And you thought, will they be able to sustain that? But
I seen something online. I don't know if I'm sure it wasn't us that put it up in the chat. I'm sure it must have been something on Twitter that I think, didn't quote me on the number, but a high number. I won't even say the number because it'll be wrong. I just remember skimming past it and thinking there's a certain amount of players that have been starting in the starting 11 that started in the starting 11 in League One.
That's some going in it.
Didn't quote me on how many. I'd need to try and find it, but obviously
we've got Henderson definitely left centre half.
Obviously through them all, but obviously Bainey never could look like the goalie or as such. But you can go through quite a lot of them.
I told you about League One. We were at Dundee United and they battered us pre-season.
I remember you saying that.
It was embarrassing.
But you talk about bouncing back, don't you? Because I done the game a couple of weeks ago when obviously they lost against Dundee United when Henderson got sent off at the halfway line.
Yeah.
And you wondered a wee momentum swing because Dundee United are just behind them, chasing them. Obviously, you wonder if they might come out unstuck, but to then bounce back.
I played Dylan Tate and Calvin Miller at paddle tennis on Wednesday. on their day off.
Mate, John, no wonder John McGlynn doesn't like you.
What?
He's trying to injure his player. They should
Dylan Tate
they should be resting up, mate.
Dylan Tate got a goal or two and Calvin got a couple of assists, so he should be thanking me.
Double for Tate, aye. By the way, Barnett's short as well in our double.
Aye.
Goals.
Do we find players or not? Done it with Keelan Adams.
Aye, brilliant,
aye, fair play to John McGlynn. Great
and
result.
And then the flip of that.
They're going to have a say as well in terms of playing against Celtic, Rangers and Hearts. That'll not be an easy game. The good thing about it, in the past, there's been teams in that top six that you think, right, well, they'll get battered off. Celtic, Rangers are the title contenders. But they're going to have a say. It's going to be a right good...
Kelly go down?
Be
all right.
I think Kelly are going to catch St Mirren.
Do you think so?
I think they're going to catch St Mirren. I've got a feeling they will. Bad result for them, right enough, but...
Another point for Livy. Livy St Mirren 1-1, won it? Aye. 1-1, Dave, won it? Livy St Mirren, aye. 1-1, I'm sure.
Aye.
I think Livy are running out of time, I think, really, but it's the ones that are above that, mate, are obviously your Kelly, St Mirren.
Jules is a big miss for Kilmarnock.
Aye.
He's got
I didn't see that coming, to be fair. Because I think Neely had, when you think of, running Celtic close, even like the game at Ibrox, Kilmarnock down to 10 men early doors and really good in the first half. Obviously run out of steam a wee bit with 10 men for such a long period of the game, but I thought Neil McCann might just with it, how fiery he is and got a wee bit about him and Doddsy. I thought they might, but when you go to Falkirk and you get beat, you get hit for 5, you worry a wee bit that.
I still think they might catch St Mirren, and I think even if they don't, they'll be fine in a playoff.
You don't see any of the teams in the Championship beating whoever that potentially might be.
No,
I think it'll be between Kelly and St Mirren that end up the team that ends up in the playoff. That would be my.
Do you think they'll go down if they do? So who is on the Championship? Who's sitting top right now?
Well, Dunfermline have just St Johnson and then Partick Thistle, Arbroath, and then Dunfermline have just leapfrogged there after winning at the weekend. They got beat off St Johnson. Dunfermline beat Queen's Park 1-0. I should get a job on BBC or that, like reading the scores out, eh? I should be the new Jeff Sterling, mate, eh?
No, I know who you would be. The next Dougie Donnelly. You look a wee bit like him.
He's got more hair than me. I've got more hair than these pair that are doing it. Dave and Paul, that's for sure. We need to get the cameras.
No follicle between them.
I feel great sitting next to you, but I feel alright when I walk in the room with these pair. But then same again statistically, mate. I'm like, we got beat at Hibs. I got relegated with Hibs, obviously with Terry Butcher and Hamilton. Played in the playoff rounds, and everybody says, "Oh, it's designed for the Premier League club because like third plays fourth, and then the winners of that play second, and the winners of that then play the Premier League team. It's over the 2 legs. The Premier League team is normally away from home first, and then they get the home game in the second game. So I think a lot of the Championship teams feel are right through the playoffs feel as though it's always favouring the team that's in the league above. But then Dundee have done it in recent times when James McPake was the manager. Didn't quote me what year. I obviously suffered it when I was at Hibs when Hamilton got promoted when Alex Neil was the manager. So there's I didn't think that's a given. And then you have guys like Neil Lennon at Dunfermline who have creeped back into the playoffs. Lots of teams kind of round about them when you think of Wraith. Obviously they've leapfrogged Ayr have got a game in hand. So I think that would then put them back in if they can listen. If it's a big if they can win it, Scotty and Whitty. So you think of the type of personalities, if they end up in the playoffs against, they'll fancy themselves, won't they?
Yeah.
Especially like a Neil Lennon, Scotty would obviously be the same. And then you get the fairy tale of Arbroath, you know what I mean? The only part-time team in the league, one of the lowest budgets. The boy Hamilton and David Gold, who I know really well, doing an unbelievable job, mate. So if you were a Premier League club, St Mirren, Kelly, it's the last place you want to be, mate.
Aye.
The last place you want to be. But I wouldn't bet against the Premier League club because you would expect them to be a tough nut to crack over 2 legs. But it's been done in the past, so you could never rule it out.
Yeah.
Midweek fixture, Celtic up at Aberdeen.
Listen, Celtic have run out of time now. I've said it before.
Must win.
I must win. They must go and win it. They must go and produce a performance.
They'll take confidence off of the back of the second half performance, but they need to back that up, don't they?
But then you think they'll take confidence for Stuttgart and they're not turning up. They need to turn up now, and Celtic need to get on it now for the next 10 games and get after it. Starting at Aberdeen, tough place to go, won't be easy. None of this try to come back for 2-0. Let's go and get the first goal, build on it and win the game comfortable. And then show that you're in a title fight. Still waiting for Celtic to get that started.
I see if they drop points on Wednesday, mate, I think it's game over for them.
It's a long way back. It is a long way back for there.
Because you're not just then, they're both obviously chasing Hearts, Rangers and Celtic, but if they drop points and end up no capitalising to get in front of Rangers, even if they draw and they both end up 6 points behind Hearts, I cannot see either the two of them catching Hearts.
I know.
I feel as though Celtic need to win that game to get that, put them 5 points behind. Aye. Obviously they've still to play Hearts.
It's because I don't know if you agree. It's just because you don't see Celtic or Rangers winning 9 games out of 10 anymore, do you? It's like.
But then Martin O'Neill, obviously, with the game at the weekend there, before they got beat off of Hibs, they were 9 wins and a draw under Martin O'Neill yet. So actually the record has been good, but it shows you that the feeling hasn't been as good.
Because it's not sustainable, I don't think.
I know, but like actual ratio since Martin O'Neill's come back in, they have got a brilliant record. But
what's worrying for me is Martin O'Neill doesn't know his best team or anywhere near his best team. Doesn't he know who the best striker is? Doesn't he get a feeling who he thinks is the best striker? Wing keeps changing. I see Rangers now they've found their best team and their best formation. Hearts always have, I know they've had a few injuries, but they know who's replaced and they know who they've got, they know what their team's going to be. Celtic for me are just a wee bit caught between styles and they don't know who their best team is. And then Dane Murray's a young centre half who makes a mistake. Is he going to be reliable for? I don't know.
And I presume Carter Vickers is never going to play any games this season, is he?
No.
He's not in the pipeline to be.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Listen,
I'd be surprised.
And you could argue he's
Johnson as well, another one.
Probably the best centre. Well, he is the best centre back in the leagues, I would say.
Aye.
Carter Vickers, he has been a huge miss for them. But listen, when you're at a big club, everybody else has hardship when certain players get injured or sent off or suspended. Or you only need to look across at Hearts. We've had 2 real influential ones in Cammy Devlin and Shanklin. So I don't think anyone would feel sorry for the depth of squads that the old firm have got that they miss a key player or what.
You forget about Johnson, Vickers.
What are you saying about the guy? We've never actually touched on it. What about the big call to no play Schmeichel?
I thought it was right. 100%.
Well, you'd said that, but
as long as Sinisalo come through Stuttgart without any major mistakes and there's a steady enough game, I think he's his jersey now.
Is that him in for the rest of the season now?
Well, I don't know about the rest of the season, but you're obviously vulnerable at that stage when you're just getting in. You're only ever a mistake if you're losing your place again. But I think that Kasper Schmeichel needed a wee rest. I've been there as a player myself. Your confidence is low. You're maybe not training as much because you're carrying a wee injury. You need a wee bit of time at the team to sort of take the heat off you. I think Sinisalo now has to put on a few decent steady performances to show that he's reliable, to gain the trust of the manager, and then he can maybe stay in. But I think it was the right decision and it proved to be right. I don't know if he did any chance for any of the goals, maybe Chermiti's second, but
no, I think it's a brilliant finish. I think he does what any good goalie does. He comes and makes himself big, and it's just a nonchalant finish in it. And then the first one's a wonder strike. So, a big call. So, for me, they need to go up to Pittodrie and win on Wednesday night.
They need to. Aye,
every game's a must win, obviously now because it's that critical. But I think the context of the league and the context of coming back and getting that point at Ibrox, they have to back that up. We're going to Pittodrie, and I think for a Celtic fan perspective to have the fans really get behind them in the coming weeks, they have to put on some sort of sustained performance where it's not just huffing and puffing and getting over the line last minute, even though Celtic fans will probably take it because, as you mentioned, it's a difficult place to go, but the sustainability of that, I think they're looking for a big performance in there. Hit us, Dave.
Here's the next one from Alex Gray. So, given Celtic's second half comeback, what was the best half-time team talk both of you have been involved with?
Straight away comes to mind is Kilmarnock being 3-0 down. Rangers were 15 points clear. We were 3-0 down to Kilmarnock. Rangers played that afternoon, and if we'd lost and they'd won, they were 18 points clear in the league. And we sat in the changing room, and Neil Lennon came in, and we expected the place to get ragdolled. With walls getting kicked out, with water everywhere. We expected the place to get wrecked and everybody to get caned, and he came in just calm as anything. And he spoke to us. I don't remember every word, but he was like, just get the next goal. Nice and calm, get the next goal. He knew how bad we were feeling and how bad we knew how bad we'd been. We didn't need a rollicking, and we came out second half when we drew the game 3 each. I think I scored the equaliser to go 3 each. Rangers drew that afternoon, and we went 2 points clear just after Christmas. And just after Christmas, right, it was a really windy day. I don't know if you remember it. We beat Rangers at Celtic Park 1-0. Really windy. Dave, you'll love this. So, sitting at Celtic Park, we used to train in the morning, go to the hotel, we go for lunch at Celtic Park, train at Barrafield, go to lunch at Celtic Park, then go to the hotel, go for a sleep and go back to the thing at night. So I'm sitting really windy at Celtic Park and the phone rings. And the wee woman in reception's no there, and we're all sitting in reception waiting the bus. So I just picked the phone up. I says, hello. Hello, son, how you doing? I says, hi, welcome to Celtic Park here. What, everything okay? I just wondering, there's a lot of wind out there, son. Just wonder if the game's gone ahead tonight. And I was sitting with the boys and I was like, I says, no, mate. I says, have you not heard? I says, the North Stand roof's blew off. I said, the game's off. And he went, I knew it, son. I knew it. I says, right, pal, right, catch you later. I'm the phone up. We beat Rangers 1-0 that night. I don't know, that old guy must have been sitting in the house going, is that a rerun of a game or is that an actual game?
You've called that old boy's dream, mate, being at Celtic Park watching Celtic win an Old Firm game.
Sorry, mate, if you listen, but like and subscribe.
He'll be on the phone, mate. The first one I come to mind, and it's not because it was me, mate, is we were 3-0 down against Falkirk when I was at Hibs. I come back up the road from Middlesbrough, Pat Fenlon's team, and I remember Paul Kearney. I think he'll even say himself, he was like, do you ken Paul? No. Yeah, played with Hibs. He's a good player as well, real powerhouse of a boy. Solid, kind of wide player. He had one of the worst 45 minutes I've ever seen. And Scott Robertson, who, Scotty, good lad, does a bit of coaching. I think he's up at Dundee still, Scotty. And he, same again, good player. Middle of the pitch, played a lot against him a lot when he was at Dundee United, when I was at Rangers and at Hibs, and I ended up playing in the middle of the pitch with him. I think he got hooked after like 20-25 minutes, mate. 3-0 down at Hampden. All the Hibs fans was there. Falkirk were in the league below, expected to win. They absolutely battered us. And I've come in at half time. Tam and Joyce, Tam, rest his soul, he's nowhere anymore, had handed me a Powerade, and I've launched the Powerade. I don't know who it hit. I actually think it might have went towards like James McPake and that. And I've read the riot act there and then, mate. I've said like, we're a disgrace. Let everybody down. Didn't obviously know any words, obviously with a few swear words involved. Didn't deserve to represent this club and blah blah blah. And Pat Fenlon didn't actually need to do a team talk after it because I'd pretty much done it. I think Griff's maybe come in and said it in the media or whatever. And that's not me saying that I was like the instrumental of that, because I probably was as bad as anyone else. But we ended up going on and winning that game 4-3.
Did you?
Griff scored out. Alex Harris scored to start with, which put 3-1 and bit momentum. Didn't quote me on who else scored the goals, but Griff ends up scoring a worldie for like the left hand side of the box, kind of one of the on his left peg where he just cuts across it with the outside of his foot and the far corner, an absolute worldie. It was the same year that Hughes beat us in the final.
That's right, 3-0.
3-0 game that I played in, obviously you played in. But I remember like, and then you have the other ones that you can, I cannot think of off the top of my head. I think Walter having a right go at us at Hampden, UEFA Cup final season when we were 2-0 up against Queen of the South, and it was almost as if like he had a crystal ball because he knew what was going to happen. Had a right go at us at half time, and within 15-20 minutes of the second half it was 2-2. And I don't think if he had a go at us and had almost warned us that it was coming, I think we would end up getting beat that game. I think we would have, just because we were running on empty, they got our noses in front, and it was the game that Boyd ends up scoring the free kick for like 25-30 yards in the stanchion. I think DeMarcus Beasley scored early, so bits that you think, oh, kind of when it kind of hits you in the face a wee bit, but that would be the one that, or the couple, sorry, that spring to mind.
Nice.
I've got a question from Scott here. So what was for a question for both of you, what was the most memorable Rangers and Celtic game you played in?
The most memorable one I played in?
Yeah.
It's hard when you score the winner, isn't it? To not be like selfish, and when you play in a game that you win 1-0 and you get the goal. But I think the Mendes one for me was probably all the games I played against Rangers. I'm saying all the games that I played against Rangers and Celtic. It was like there was never anything in it, regardless of the score. But that one at Celtic Park, big Daniel Kuzan, the day that Kenny Miller obviously scored 2, Mendes scores the long one. It's probably the most dominant I've ever felt as a Rangers player against Celtic, which never happened. Even if you did win games, it was always 50-50, or I actually always felt Celtic dominated the ball against us in Old Firms at times, but that was the one game where myself, Mendes, Davo played like more like a flat free, which we'd never done very often. And it was the one time that like we had loads of the ball at Celtic Park, loads of opportunities, and apart from Nakamura scoring late on to make it 4-2, Daniel Kuzan got sent off. Big Jan come on and got sent off no long after coming on as a sub. So we ended up 10v10 for the last however long, but I think Mendes like Megan McGeady in that late on. It was probably the one game that was as dominant as I can think of a Rangers and Celtic game that I played in anyway.
So mine would be the game I scored in. That's got to be growing up. Obviously, it was a Glasgow Celtic fan. We worked in a set piece. Rangers players all followed their men, so we took them. The plan was to take them out to the front post. The edge of the box man was sort of in the edge of the box. I think it was Andy Little or whatever, and I was the kid on to fix my socks. And I was fixing my socks. He looked at the ball, and then I was to go in the back post, and Commons delivered it. And as I say, that young boy growing up in Glasgow, outskirts of Glasgow, Celtic fan, dreaming of scoring for Celtic, and that ball's coming to me. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's coming to me.
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do? And then it comes in, and if you see it, it comes in quite low. So people think it's this great diving header, which it was, and I've got some good photos of it, but I probably should have volleyed it, but I thought the easiest way to connect with it is header it, so I just headered it down in the net, and then, geez, like, it's actually, when the ball's coming, I'm thinking, oh my God, that's me. And then I connected with it, it goes in, and I'm like, oh, that's what I've dreamt of my whole life.
Can't describe that moment, can you?
Can't. It's like the whole thing stops still, and then we won 3-0, and the only thing I regret about the game is
Ibrox,
my celebration, no Celtic Park. I ran back to the halfway line too quick. If I could go back now, I'd be right in amongst the Green Brigade. I'd be up there for 10 minutes.
I was the same, mate. I had like that. I got that sick feeling. And when you can't get your second wind and your breath, and I was like, I'm glad the ball didn't come to me again, because I would have gave it away. But that split moment when you're like, you didn't know quite what to do, and then you get surrounded, it goes back to what we done the podcast. You probably never enjoyed the individual special moments or nothing. I hardly scored any goals, so I didn't have many of them, but probably some of the worldies that you scored, free kick ones, that fluke that Mark McGee said that you scored.
Did he, aye? Go on, mate.
What about Granty's one? What my mate's one? We need to get Granty's one on.
Right, let's get that one.
I've put in the chat.
We'll have this for the last one today then. So Celtic and Rangers have both conceded 2 goals in each of their last 3 games domestically. Is that a sign of both of them getting too desperate for points, or a mentality issue? How do you stop the rut of having to score at least 3 to win a game?
Great question.
How do you stop the rut of having to win? You can't. It's not sustainable to win.
Having to score 3 goals.
So you need to stop that. Now, how you stop it?
As another story.
For me, as another story. Get performances better. Really, Celtic had no control in the game in the first half. If Celtic had I mean, even like a 10% more possession, you then maybe stop these chances. Just get control of the game for me. I don't know. Defend the moments better. Dane Murray swipes at a ball. It's just not good enough. Clear the ball. The individual moments, but for me, you just need a better overall performance. That's why I think with Celtic's performance has been so bad at times, it then gives you a mountain to climb. I think when you're a lot more dominant in possession, you can see it's all connected. You can see a lot less chances, and you create a lot more chances, and being ruthless in both side boxes. So get control of the game and do the wee moments better.
It's hard. I read it this morning when Granty messaged me. It's because obviously there was a wee spell where Danny Roll's Rangers team were the clean sheets were great, and it was probably the foundation of some of the success.
I think it was Mourinho years ago said goals win you games, clean sheets win you leagues.
I actually remember him saying that, mate. And I think John Terry's just obviously been on the golf channels you do. He's just on the Jimmy Bullard one, isn't he?
Seen it.
And I think they still hold the record. Didn't he quote me on the record? Somebody will pop it up for us. But I think there was a spell that, was it Arsenal that were going to potentially beat it? Or somebody was going to beat it, I think. And John Terry, and I'm presuming I'm just trying to think who they played with, the Portuguese boy, didn't he? Was it Carvalho? Is that who?
Carvalho
played centre back.
Played with Cahill as well, didn't
And
he?
he would have had Cahill, he would have had Ashley Cole on his left, he would have had Ivanovic on his right, Peter Cech in goals.
Yeah.
Superstars, really. And I'm not even a Chelsea fan, but I think that's bang on for me. And I do think that there's a feeling from opposition that the Rangers backline and the Celtic backline, without doing any of them a disservice, is they will give you a chance. And I go back to like being at Motherwell and us talking up Jack Butland, who has been instrumental in some of the clean sheets and the chances that Rangers, and you felt in recent pods that they've rode their luck at times, Rangers, isn't they?
Yeah.
You have to give credit because they have got that clean sheet. But then the flip of that in recent times is 2 at Livingston, obviously 2 again against Celtic, obviously 2 in the last 3 games, like what Granty's mentioning. I think if you're, and then you look the flip of that for Hearts, getting the 1-0 results. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be with 10 men, whether it be against Aberdeen at the weekend, it's probably what Rangers were doing prior. But in recent weeks, maybe shipped in too many goals. Celtic have been the same.
I think with Granty's question there's a hint towards that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you're more attacking, you're more vulnerable.
Aye.
Where I think that if you look at Rangers' first half performances, they spent the 75% of it in Celtic's half, yet they didn't concede any chances. So I don't think it's necessarily when you're going for it and you're attacking, you're more vulnerable. I think that you don't. It's not an option for Celtic and Rangers to sit back. I just think they need to be in control of the game and be willing to sort of defend against that counter by having a solid base and being relentless with your attacks and being ruthless in front of goal.
You also, I think, like that's a bit that a lot of people will no see, is that when Rangers and Celtic are on top, when they do get that goal, the second goal, the third goal, the next part becomes a bit irrelevant. But there's been too many times this year where they've maybe got one, and I go back to the Motherwell game, you can see the anxiety. The Ibrox one, they get over the line, Askou scores, they win 1-0, but Jack Butland made some huge saves. The flip of that is they then go to Fir Park, they score a brilliant goal with Diamandi's pass, gets in behind, they score, put themselves 1-0 up, and then they concede late on to 10 men, and it would probably be because the natural thing is to protect your lead.
Yeah.
Whereas I think like a tiny wee bit more bravery, a wee bit more, maybe that mentality to continue to play forward, to continue to attack Motherwell puts them on the back foot, whereas you get slightly deeper balls coming into your box.
Yeah.
Teams get belief, they've not got much to lose, they could start to risk more players forward. So I think there's loads of variables on why you concede goals, but I certainly think it's a worry because obviously naturally when the split comes, you're going to play against the better teams. They're the teams that have earned the right to be in the top 6 over the course of the season. So you could argue that your defensive line or your team is going to be under more pressure to concede goals. So I actually think going into the top 6, the team that will probably concede the least goals will be the team that'll end up getting over the line.
Yeah. And I think, from a Celtic point of view, they need to control games. I think off the ball, Celtic are poor. I think their press is poor, and I think their wingers match fullbacks and end up in fullback areas, and their wingers, like I don't know, they go too far back for me, which puts them into a back 6 at times. Seen against Hibs, Tynecastle at the back post, try to defend it. I think they're vulnerable out of possession. Celtic, I don't think they're well drilled out of possession, in my opinion. Thanks for joining us again on the breakdown, sponsored by Bottom Groundwork. Thanks to Andy for the kind sponsorship, and thanks for the comments. Get your questions in again for next week. We appreciate them all. See you next week. Thanks.